Welcome back to episode 12 of Valley Sports Talk. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about our NHL power rankings, 1 through 16, because 16 teams make the playoffs. We just did 16 teams total. We didn't base it off division or stuff like that, because there's some divisions that are way stronger than other divisions. So yeah, I believe we're going to do some of that, and then Brandon's got some trivia time for us, because the boys enjoyed it last time. This time it's going to be me versus Max.
I'm 1-0 so far.
You're not going to be 2-0. It's a hockey quiz.
It's basketball, you said too.
Yeah, there's some, but I don't know if you'll be able to come back.
Wow.
Noah still knows a little bit about basketball. You don't
know Noah's
jack
an
of it.
NHL mastermind,
You don't know jack of it. Well, I think Noah will go like 4 for 5.
You guys just
No,
underestimate. I'm the under. I like being the underdog. That's fine.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I hope you win. That'd be funny.
No, you don't.
So yeah, speaking of that, we're going to jump right into our NHL power rankings. We're going to go from 16 to 1. I'm sure we all have different lists because, 16 teams are pretty hard to rank. It'd be pretty, like Brandon was just about to say, it'd be pretty crazy if we had the same list somehow. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started at 16.
Go ahead, hockey analyst Max Sherrington.
Number 16, the Vancouver Canucks. Recently, they just slipped into here. They're not playing that well overall for the season, but I believe
They've been hot
They've been hot as of late. They beat the Leafs. I mean, they're beating the Sens, so that's not a big deal, but. Yeah, I do know that they've been recently lighting it up a little bit, and they earn a 16 spot. I'm just showing them some love also because they're a Canadian team. So,
My 16th team is another Canadian team. It's the Montreal Canadiens. They start off the season strong. Obviously, as of late, they haven't been that good. They've been respectable, but Calgary and Vancouver are very quickly creeping up on them. Calgary's 3 points out, and Vancouver's 2 points out. The only thing that Montreal has in them is that Montreal has 4 games in hand with Vancouver, but only 1 with Calgary. Personally, I had them overrated. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you look at their record, it's kind of interesting, the difference between them and Vancouver. Like, Vancouver's 15-16, whereas they're 13-8. Like, they've played 4 less games.
They've also lost a lot in overtime, Montreal.
They're 13-8-8.
So I don't even know if I'm trying to... I have the Habs slightly higher, but I feel like there's still quite a bit of separation.
I don't have the Habs on my list.
I don't
really?
I don't have
You have Vancouver on your list?
Yeah.
I don't.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have the Vancouver over Habs? So I disagree with that, because, like, if you look... I don't know much, but I don't feel like if you look at it, I think the Habs have been declining, but they're still not I don't know. I don't think they're at the same level as the Canucks fully.
Well, we'll let Noah talk.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I had them overrated at the start of the year. I still have them overrated. Personally, I see one of those 2 teams below them overtaking them in the playoffs. Whether it's the Canucks or whether it's the Flames, I just see one of them overtaking them. So yeah, they're coming in at my 16.
At 16, I also have Vancouver. My basically argument for having them over Montreal is over the past 10 games, they're 7-3. I know, like, one of those is against Ottawa, but it happens. You can only play, or maybe 2, but you can only play the teams ahead of you.
Both in extra time though. 1 in overtime, 1 in shootout.
You still get the points. The Leafs can't do it. So
They played like the Leafs, Sens, and Oilers the past 2 games.
and they're beating them. So
yeah,
I mean, they're currently 18th in the NHL. I just feel like if they definitely have the goaltending to do it, the goaltending hasn't been solid this year. But if the goaltending can find it out with Holtby and Demko.
Demko seems like he's taken over the lead.
He's starting to figure it out, and that's good to see if you're a Vancouver fan. But I mean, they went to Game 7 in technically the second round. I guess it could have been the third round, but didn't they take Vegas to 7 last year?
I think so.
So they went decently far in the playoffs. They took Vegas to 7. I'll go to 15
He's
after.
going 15.
Oh, okay.
I just think the Canucks are starting to find it, and they can go back to the team they were last year, which is why I have them over Montreal. My 15th team is the Philadelphia Flyers. Personally, at the beginning of the year, they were my cup favorite. Not my cup favorites. They were. I had them in Colorado meeting in the Stanley Cup Finals. I guess that's a little premature of me now seeing this. They're currently 15th in the NHL. I just feel like all around, you're not seeing what you'd want to see, like especially their big boys. They're producing, but not at the levels you'd want to see them produce. Also, Carter Hart's been kind of disappointed this year. They did start off strong in the last 10. They're 4-6. I think they'll pick it back up, but as of right now, they're low.
Yeah, I also have Philly as my 15th seed. Like Brandon said, they're 4-6 their last 10. They actually have a negative goal differential now. I mean, losing 9-0 to the
That doesn't help.
the New York Rangers really doesn't help you. Yeah, like Brandon said, Carter Hart's been very disappointing. You know, some people I think even predicted him to possibly go for Vezina this year. Obviously, he's not even close to that. You could even argue that Brian Elliott has 100% played better than him this year. You know, their key guys are getting old. You know, Giroux's getting old, Couture's getting old, even JVR's getting old. You know, Voracek's not the same guy he used to. So like, this was going to be their year. I think they're going to start to sort of get into like a rebuilding, sort of like mid-tier rebuilding phase. They're not going to completely scrap it, but you know, they're good. Their good years are behind them. So you know, this is like probably their best shot now. You know, it's slipping away from them. Hopefully not. They can turn around since I'm a Pittsburgh fan, but hopefully for Philly's sake, they can turn around. But yeah, they're coming in 15 for me.
Yeah, I actually have Philadelphia 15 as well. I have Philadelphia 15 for basically the same points as they were making. They haven't been consistent. They haven't shown anything that is kind of like, I don't know, given anyone any sign of like, yeah, this team's here to stay, and this is what they're going to do. I feel like Noah and Brandon were saying, their probably best years are behind them. So for that reason, I have them at 15. 14, I have the Canadians. Unlike these guys, I had them a little bit higher. One thing to note that I think I saw in the standings for them was their differential. They're actually, although they have been, I think they're 4-2-4 in the past 10 games.
Yeah.
They've actually been able to keep a +13 differential. So I know it's not a huge thing, but it's something to keep in mind considering the next person behind them would be the Canucks, and they have a -12 differential. So there's a huge gap there. So I'm keeping hope that Habs can continue maybe moving back up the standings, but we'll see.
Yeah, my 14th seed is the St. Louis Blues. 2 years ago, they won the Stanley Cup, obviously. They have been slumping as of late. You know, they're lost 5 in a row. But like they did in the Cup final, they went from the dead last team in the league to winning the Cup final. So who says they can't do it again? Still high on all their top guys. You know, they're just getting Tarasenko's back after missing the start of the season with injury. Binnington just got signed an extension. He's probably one of the top tier goalies in the league. Yeah, I see them turning it around, and I see them making their way into the playoffs, even though they're still in a playoff spot right now.
Tarasenko as well.
I also have St. Louis at 14. I guess our lists are pretty similar so far. I mean, same sort of thing I was saying with the Flyers, and just to piggyback off Noah, I mean, it's nice to have Tarasenko back, but I was looking at the team stats, and I mean, just kind of where they are in our power rankings right now, their totals are pretty average. Nobody on the team's doing terrible, but nobody's really lighting it up. Like Noah said, they lost 5 in a row. A lot of those were in overtime. They're 4-3-3 in their last 10. In saying having St. Louis down here, like Noah was saying, I wouldn't want to see them in the playoffs. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years ago, and they definitely have the experience. So, moving on to my number 13 team, I have the Edmonton Oilers, who are currently 8th in the NHL right now. The only reason I have them dropping down is because they've played so many games. And plain and simply, I just don't trust them as a team. Their goaltending is kind of, very sketchy. The Edmonton Oilers, their defense isn't solid, except for, I guess, Nurse, and even, I guess you could say Tyson Barrie, and obviously they just got the two-headed monster up front. I just don't trust the rest of the team.
Yeah, my 13th team is the Boston Bruins. Like Brandon said for St. Louis, this is still a team I would not even want to sniff in the playoffs. They're just, I don't know. They're on a, even then they're 5-3-2 in the last 10 games. They've just been, the 3 teams in front of them have just had really good stretches as of late, being the Capitals, Islanders, and Penguins, who I'm sure we'll mention earlier. All 3 of those teams have been very good in their last 10. as of the Bruins. This division is just so tough. It kind of weird for me to have the Bruins down this high, considering they would have probably been
Down this low.
down this low. Thank you. Considering they would have been probably top 7 at near the start of the season, but just because they're lower in their division, still in the playoff spot, obviously, they're coming in at 13 for me.
All right, so number 13, I have the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're a bit low, but yeah, it might be a little bit disrespectful, but I'm just going to pull up the standings here for a second. If you look at Pittsburgh, they've lost the past 2.
Yeah, but after a 6-game win streak.
After a 6-game win streak, okay, that's fair. I still am questionable about them because they've been up and down throughout the year. I don't think, although we still do have Crosby, we still have Malkin. I still don't think
Malkin's on the IR.
He's on
At least 3 games, short-term IR.
But like just the whole team. Yeah, I don't trust this team because I don't trust Crosby, and that sounds terrible, but I just don't. I don't trust him anymore. I don't think he's that face of the league that he once was, and I don't see them being a contender this year. So no, they're at 13 for me. My number 12 spot, the Boston Bruins. So this is a totally different team. Okay, so I'm gonna, before I go on my Bruins pick, I'm gonna rehash what I said about the Penguins one more time. I think they have a chance. I think they have a chance to move and do well in the playoffs. I'm just saying, as of right now, I don't have high hopes for them.
That's fair.
Yeah.
They do have an easy schedule going forward.
Yeah, okay, so that's...
We'll see that.
Boston Bruins, on the other hand, even though they're only one spot different from the Penguins, I have a lot more optimism towards their team just because I know that their starting lineup, I think, has still been on fire. I don't know if the Penguins starting lineup hasn't been on fire, but...
Jake Gensel's on fire.
Yeah, but Boston seems to have a lot of offensive firepower. They're probably more consistent than Pittsburgh across the board, and
except for Tuukka's out.
Yeah, Tuukka's out. So
that hurts.
I don't know. I like Boston as a playoff team, so that's kind of why I don't have them very high, but I'm still high on them overall. So.
My 12th team is the Edmonton Oilers. I'm not high on them. Never have been. Probably never will be unless they start building around McDavid like they should. Obviously, McDavid probably the best player in the league.
Did a Pittsburgh Penguin fan just say Connor McDavid's the best player in the league?
I'm still not the highest fan of McDavid, but I will put him up there. He is the best player in the league. But like I said,
is Panarin your second right
now? But I don't. Their goaltending's suspicious. Koskinen is not the guy. Mike Smith is 41. He would have been the guy about 5 years ago. Yeah, even then. Their decor is all right. Tyson Barrie's a liability on defense, but he's great on the offensive side. What the heck?
Basketball.
Yeah.
NCAA.
Nick Nurse.
That's tough.
Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse is a pretty good lockdown defenseman.
I've never seen Nick play defense, but I'm sure it'd be okay.
Is Draisaitl your second best player in the league right now?
No. Other than that, I couldn't name you a better another.
Crosby?
No, he's not second best in mine.
Who's your second?
McKinnon.
McKinnon?
Yeah.
I would put Matthews above McKinnon.
I wouldn't. Not
No?
yet.
I wouldn't.
No,
I would still wouldn't put Matthews above Crosby either.
Really? Okay.
That's a debate.
Yeah. What was it? We're talking about the goddamn what you guys got.
No, you were talking about
Nick Nurse.
His defense.
Yeah. Other than Darnell and Tyson Barrie, I couldn't name you another defenseman off Edmonton.
Well, I've heard Nick Nurse plays on-ball defense. I mean,
okay.
You know Ethan Bear?
No. Oh, I do know him actually. Now you say it. But yeah, until they start actually building around McDavid and getting that goalie and starting to make their decor good, they're still going to be fakers in my eyes.
Fakers, I like that.
They are.
So
fakers.
Coming in at 12 is Edmonton.
Number 12, I got the Boston Bruins.
Took you a while.
I know. I was like, wait, are we on 12? And I was like, yeah, because I already talked about Edmonton. So 12, I got Boston Bruins. Noah and Max already talked about them. They're currently 13th in the league. They're dealing with a few injuries, have dealt with a few injuries. I know Raska's out, but Raska and Halak have been amazing. They're a great tandem. Halak's not lately, but I mean, overall, they've been all right. Sure. They're 5-3-2 in their last 10. Like Noah said, I wouldn't want to see them in the playoffs. I've seen them too much in the playoffs. I know what they do in the playoffs. Doesn't matter who's playing. Boston's always going to be a team that's scary. My 11th team is the Winnipeg Jets, who are currently 10th in the NHL. We've talked about them a few episodes ago on the podcast. And when we talked about them, we said that we like their big boys, and their big boys are killing it. That includes Hellebuck, who's on a Vezina Trophy year again. I just don't really. I'm not a big fan of their defense. They lost a few pieces last year, and they didn't really replace them with anything. I guess their best defenseman is probably like Josh Morrissey.
No, probably Neil Pionk.
Or Neil Pionk, yeah, one of the two. But yeah, they're still a good team. They'll still make the playoffs. They'll probably. I think they'll finish second in the Canadian division.
You did. We're on 11, right?
You're on number 11.
I'm on 11. My 11th team is the Minnesota Wild. Probably a pretty surprising team.
That's disrespectful. Minnesota. I have them so much higher.
I have them at 37. They have 37 points. I can't talk this episode.
Nurse.
Juju just went back to Pittsburgh. By
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
1 year deal.
How much?
$8 million.
$8 million. Wow.
Yeah.
$8 million.
Speaking of Minnesota, I'm not high on them still.
Guess
They haven't
not.
playing great hockey, but I don't. Again, I don't touch their goalie. You know, Cam Talbot isn't a top goalie. I think they'll make the playoffs because the West Division, other than the Golden Knights, the Avalanche, and maybe the Blues, it's a pretty weak division. So I think they're obviously going to make the playoffs. You know, they're still ahead of the Blues by a fair margin of 5 points, but I don't think they're going to go very far in the playoffs. I think they'll actually lose first round of the Avalanche if the seeding stays the way it is. So I like Kaprizov. I like Dumba, but I'm not too fond. I'm not too high on them. So they're coming in 11.
All right, so I have Minnesota on my number 11.
Use your page.
Yeah, I lost my page.
Disrespectful little people.
Oh, for putting them in. Yeah, so I have Minnesota at 11. I'd argue a lot of the same points as Noah. Honestly, it wasn't that.
They're a boring team though.
They're super boring.
Yeah,
but they're getting it.
But we're talking about like.
There's that, and I also.
I don't think they're gonna do good
It's
in
not
the
that I.
playoffs
It's not
either,
that I
but
didn't have.
just
It's
for
not
the
that
average.
I didn't feel like I was necessarily disrespecting them. It's just that the teams I had against. The teams I had above them, seemed to be I don't know, more exciting, entertaining, and promising moving forward. I don't know much about Minnesota, and that's
Nobody
probably
Yeah.
you know. So
Unless you're a Minnesota fan, I don't think I've met a single one in my life.
Yeah, there's not unless you're from Minnesota.
yeah, weirdo.
Weirdo.
Sorry, anyone. Yeah,
You're a pretender.
it's like I don't know. Just a weird part of the States, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, number 10, the Winnipeg Jets. I have, I don't know if this is high or low or just where they should be, but they're 18 and 10. They have a plus 11 differential. I know they're getting a lot of offensive output from Wheeler and Ehlers. Ehlers or Ehlers.
Shifley too.
And Shifley as well. And they got one of the best goalies in the league in
Hellebuck.
Yep.
Not Hasselbeck.
Connor.
Anyways, yeah, so that's
Nick
why
Nurse.
I have Winnipeg slotted in number 10.
Yeah.
Another way to get
My 10 team is also Winnipeg Jets. Like Max said, I don't know if this is high or low for them. It's kind of closest to the middle-ish of the power rankings. I like their offense. Obviously, they have, I'd say, three-headed monster with Shifley, Wheeler, and Kyle Connor.
Their top two lines are good.
This is good though.
Ehlers, I'm not disrespecting Ehlers at all. He's had a phenomenal season. I like the re-pickup of Stastny since he was there about 2 years ago. Other than Josh Morrissey and Neil Pionk, or however you say his last name, I like the same with the Oilers. I couldn't name another defenseman on that team. Like Max said, they obviously have a top 3 goalie with Connor Hellebuck, who won the Vezina last year, and he's having another Vezina season this year. There's just a bunch of goalies that are having a lot of there's a lot of goalies that are having Vezina caliber seasons.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially, I like Brandon was saying, I think they're gonna finish above the Oilers at the year. I think they'll be behind the Leafs because I think the Leafs will turn around. We'll talk about them later as well, I'm assuming. But yeah, Winnipeg has all the tools to do it. Maybe if they make a trade for some sort of defenseman at the deadline, they could even move up on this list, depending on how well they play. But for me, they're coming at 10.
Yeah, Ehlers has 33 points this year.
Ehlers has been disgusting. My 10th team is the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are currently 12th in the NHL. Again, we talked about Pittsburgh a couple episodes ago in the podcast, and our main arguments against Pittsburgh when we were talking about real and fake is I think me and Max both had them as fake, and I think the reasons we had them as fake was because like Crosby and Malkin and Gensel and people like that weren't playing up to the standards we've been used to offensive wise. Yeah. And their goalie situation, they were losing a lot of games they were winning games, but they weren't in regulation. That was their biggest cons against them. But since that podcast, all their big boys are starting to play. I know Sidney Crosby's up to a point a game. Gensel's up there. Like Noah said, you got the surprise in rust, I guess. Malkin's picking it up again. You got Leafs legend Kasperi Kapanen.
He's been ripped. He's been great this year. Bro.
Pittsburgh, like I said, they were on a 6-game win streak. They're finally winning games in regulation, which those are all 4-point swings in their favor. They're definitely on the climb, 7-3 in their last 10, and that's with a 2-game lose streak. I guess I'm piping no up right now, but there we go. But my number 9, I could never have them below Pittsburgh, is the Toronto Maple Leafs. I hate to see my team down this low when arguably they could have been in the top 3 a couple weeks ago. The Leafs are currently 7th in the NHL. Not to make excuses, just pointing things out. They've dealt with a lot of injuries this year. Both their goalies, Austin Matthews, Joe Thornton, Wayne Simmons, 5-5 in their last 10.
You just said Ben Simmons?
Wayne Simmons.
Oh, I thought you said
Wayne Train.
The Wayne Train.
Ben Simmons is pretty good too.
He is alright, yeah. Not a good
Not a good hockey player.
Yeah.
We don't know that, actually.
Yeah,
He's from Australia. You think they're playing hockey?
No. But once the Leafs get their guys back, especially both their goalies, I think they'll start to climb again. It's just a matter of time. They're my number 10. I'm number 9, sorry.
My number 9 are my Pittsburgh Penguins. Brandon and already talked about them. Max kind of disrespected them, but that's okay with him. He's not.
I did it just because of him. If
I
I didn't have him here, I probably would have.
I was pretty nice.
I'm happy. Like Brandon said, their worries in the earlier podcast, in the earlier episodes, were the star power. Obviously being Crosby, Gensel, goaltending, and Jerry. Captain. Yes, sorry, my bad. They have stepped it up. Malkin was on a 7-game point streak before he got injured. He's out at least 3. I don't know the timetable for that. Crosby's back up to a point a game. Gensel has 5 goals in 6 games. Kapanen has been playing very good second-line minutes. Jason Zucker's been out for a while. He had to miss at least 10 games. I think tomorrow night is his 10th game before he can come back. I also don't know the timetable. And
COVID?
No, he just got an injury. And then the goaltending, Jari's been actually playing very well as of late. I almost watch every single game, so I would know. Obviously, I'm not a goaltending expertise here, but whenever he's stopping 40 shots, only letting 1 in, I think that's playing pretty good defense.
You know how to pick them apart, though.
I do know how to pick
them
apart.
Yeah. No one knows how to find goals.
They also have, in my opinion, have a pretty easy schedule. They only play Washington twice, Flyers twice, and they play the Devils, who they just lost to last night, unfortunately, 7 more times, and Buffalo 6. Hopefully they can keep it going, and I have my Penguins at 9.
We'll probably talk about Buffalo a little later.
They'll probably lose all 6 those to Buffalo.
So
they're probably
although they're still first in the division, I have Toronto at 9 now. Unfortunately, I didn't think that my position or where I was putting them at was actually going to be accepted or received.
That's where I have.
So
I'm a fan.
Yeah, no, and he's a fan, so I'll take that. It seems like they haven't been off to their best. Not the best start, sorry, but they haven't been playing that well recently. The past 10 games, I believe.
They're 5-5.
Yeah, they're 5-5. Nothing to be really happy about, especially when you have so much talent. and so it's such a deep team. Is Matthews still in right now? Like
He's
right
back.
now?
Yeah,
I wouldn't say he's
they're
healthy. He's playing.
They're fully healthy tonight.
He's
Or they're-
playing, but he's not healthy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe they can make a push for the latest part of the season, but as of right now, I have them at 9 because they're not showing any like consistent, dominance or anything like that. So, for my 8, I have the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado is at the moment sitting in a second seed spot in the West Division. They've won the past 5. They're sitting right behind only the Vegas Knights. They're 18-8, and they have a really good plus 26 differential. I don't know much about their team aside from McKinnon, but I imagine what's their goal?
Their goaltending is playing one of the best
that's
years
what
of his career.
Yeah, they must be
Grubauer's
because
turning into a franchise.
they have only 65 goals against, which is the second best in their division, only to the Vegas Knights as well. So
Who might have the best goalie tandem in the league.
I would argue that this Colorado Avalanche team could make a push up this 1-16 list, and by the end of the season, I hope maybe they could be in your top 5, but I'm not sure.
Colorado's my pick to win the Stanley Cup still.
Right.
They were at the start of the year. They still are.
Yeah. They're a good
Yeah,
team.
I'm not going to go very far from Max's point. I also have Colorado at 8. They got their star power, obviously, in McKinnon, Rantanen, you can even put Kadri and Landeskog up there. They got the defense on the back end with Makar. They have another guy back there. What's his name? He got traded from the Islanders. Not Byram.
Byron plays.
I know, but I'm thinking of a guy.
I don't know.
He got traded from Adam Pelech. Is that his name? I think it might be him.
Yeah, maybe.
Adam Pelech came over from the Islanders. Obviously, like we said, Grubauer's
I'll
playing
find it right now.
at a Vezina type season. Best
Yeah, Bowen, Byram,
Bowen Byram.
Nikita Zadorov,
Nikita Zaitsev. That's not good.
Zadorov.
Nikita Zadorov.
Oh, Davin Taves. That's his name. He's a good defenseman.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Taves or whatever.
Hockey analyst here.
You would
Obviously, they are on a 5-game win streak, like Max said. They have the star power, they have the goalies, they have the defense to do it. If they put it all, the question is if they can put it all together and go that way. Like Brandon said, I also have the Avalanche going all the way in my cup prediction. I'm sure we'll do an episode about that in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're still slated at 8 for me.
My 8 team is the Minnesota Wild. I don't think that's really reaching. I totally agree.
You're saying I'm disrespecting by putting them at 10. There's 2 spots below.
Disrespectful.
I had them at what?
11. Yeah, that's disrespectful.
1, 3.
I mean, like they said, the Minnesota, they are a boring team to watch. I mean,
But they're the best team in the league.
They're definitely up there. Yeah,
They're the best. They must be. Otherwise, it's slander.
The only reason I think people that don't cheer for Minnesota watch Minnesota is because they have 2 top calendar candidates in
Calder, you mean?
Calder
Calendar?
Calder in
Very quiet there. We can keep up with ESPN, honestly.
in
We gotta get our English right.
in
first.
Capo Kakinen, who's been
That's blasphemy. That's what Stephen A would say.
blasphemous.
Blasphemy.
And Kirill Kaprizov, obviously Kaprizov, he's leading the team in points. He's almost a point per game player as a rookie for the Minnesota Wild, which is insane considering he's playing on the Minnesota Wild.
He's fun to watch.
He is fun.
And then Capo Kakinen has been a surprise. I mean, he's their starting goalie as a rookie, and he's playing pretty well. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. I think they're having a good time right now. As 7, I have the Colorado Avalanche, who are 9th in the NHL. They've already talked about them. They're starting. They kind of started the season off a little slow, and they're starting to look like the powerhouse that we know them to be. Like we said, Grubauer's playing his best hockey. 7-2-1 in their last 10, and I assume they're just going to keep climbing this list.
This is the one team that I am going to disrespect in this video. At 7, I have the Washington Capitals. Obviously, they're on a 6-game win streak. They're 9-1 in their last 10.
Just happens to be the Penguins' rivals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I have my points. Obviously,
That
with
would be one of them.
okay, sure. Obviously, with the team they have in front of them, they're going to score a lot of goals. But my one sort of like knock on them is they're also letting in a lot of goals. Their goaltending is not what you want it to be in the playoffs. Vitek Vanacek is not a guy. I had never heard of him until this season. I'm pretty sure I've said this on prior episodes. I trust Craig Anderson in the playoffs more than him because Craig Anderson has been in the playoffs. Sure, he's not a great goalie. No knock on them, obviously being the 7th best team in the league. Whenever they also have I think they're tied for first in the league in points. I just have trust the teams in front of them goaltending way more than I trust these ones, except for maybe one. But yeah, the one team I disrespected was Washington in my rankings at 7.
All right, so at number 7, I do not have the Washington Capitals. I guess this would be a little bit of a boost for this team, considering what you guys have put them at. But I have the Edmonton Oilers at number 7. I believe that if you look at the division they're in, although there's an argument to be made that teams like, the Wild, the Winnipeg Jets, or Toronto, or even Colorado could all be put ahead of them. But I'm just looking at how well they've done in just their division specifically, and I feel like they could challenge Toronto for that number 1 spot. And I think that although they have shown that they lack a little bit of depth, I think people are a little bit hard on them just because they have McDavid. Everyone thinks that because they have a McDavid, it's supposed to be so easy for them to do so well. But I'm actually quite impressed with them this year, and the fact that they are even contending for that number 1 spot is something to look forward to for years to come with McDavid. So yeah, number 7. Number 6, I have the New York Islanders. Another team I don't pay too much attention to. They're 19-8. They have a good differential with plus 19. They don't allow that many goals against, with only 70. And I mean, they lost the past 2, but in the past 10 games have been 8-2. So they've been pretty hot, and no reason not to put them at 6 or 7. Yeah, 6.
Yeah, my 6 team is also the Islanders. But Max, kind of piggybacking off Max's point with them not allowing very many goals, they play a really defensive system. Barry Trotz's system is very defensive, kind of boring to watch, if I'm going to be honest. But obviously, like you can tell, it gets them done. They just came off an 8-game win streak. Fortunately, they lost the last 2. But from what I've seen with them this year, the defensive system works. Sure, it's boring to watch, not good for the fans to watch, but it's winning them games, and that's all you can ask for. They also have a Vezina caliber goalie this year in what's his name? Semyon Varlamov. Thank you.
I'll let you figure it out.
But yeah, boring team to watch, but they get the job done. Number 6, the Islanders.
I feel like this is kind of disrespectful, but if we're talking about power rankings, the other 5 teams ahead of them have just been on a different level. So unfortunately, I have to put the Florida Panthers down at 6. They're currently 3rd in the NHL. Huberdeau and Barkov are on a different planet. Bobrovsky, it's nice to see him getting back to
Bobrovsky level.
Bobrovsky getting back to having Jay and Dan go crazy on SportsCenter. Back in the olden days. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10. I feel kind of gross having them this low because the last hockey podcast we talked about, we were talking about how underappreciated they are and almost disrespected. But like I said, the other teams ahead of them are just so hot right now. Speaking of that, my 5th team is the Islanders, who sit currently 5th in the NHL. They're 8-2 in their last 10. The only thing that scares me, they already talked about them. We know the type of game we play. We know their team. But Andersley's out for season, right?
Yeah, he tore the ACL, MCL, and meniscus.
To lose your captain for the season, and when you're only basically halfway through the season, it's going to be hard to
replace him.
Well, you can't. I think they're going to take a little bit of a fall. But as for right now, I got him at 5.
My 5th team is going to make Brandon a bit happy. Is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, they've been a bit sloppy the last 10 games, 5-5, but they're getting healthy. I saw it on Twitter today. They're finally back to their complete healthy lineup tonight with Campbell and Wayne Simmons back in the lineup. They have Galchenyuk slated in tonight on the second line.
I'm excited to
see how well he plays. Like we talked about them earlier podcasts. We have them as real. I still have them as real. I still have them. Possibly, they could definitely make a run at the playoffs. At the Stanley Cup. I think they'll turn around. I see no reason why they shouldn't turn around. They're going to get healthy in the next couple coming weeks. I think they'll start getting hot and playing good hockey, so they're still top for me, number 5.
All right.
Are we boring you?
Oh yeah, this is so fucking boring. Can't believe I do this podcast still. Number 5, I have the Carolina Hurricanes. I have the Carolina Hurricanes because the Carolina Hurricanes are 20-7 with a plus 24 differential. They've been hot throughout the year. They have good goaltending. I think they have really good defense. I could be 100. They do, right? Yeah. And
Carolina's got a really solid defense. Yeah.
Yeah. So for that reason, I have them there, and I don't see them moving around. I'm just happy to see Carolina not being a shit team for once. So that's cool. Do I go to my number 3?
Number 4.
Number 4.
4.
Carolina is number 5, was it not?
Yeah, it was.
Number
Yeah,
4.
sorry. Number 4 is the Vegas Knights. I don't know if that's considered high or low. I guess they're first in their division, so maybe that might say something.
Maybe.
They've won the past 4.
Guess so. Your first new division, you're probably decent.
Yeah, they've won the past 4 games, just like Colorado. They've been off to a pretty hot streak lately, and they're plus 29 differential. I have a couple of teams ahead of them just because I'm seeing. I honestly, okay. So here's the thing: I have Florida at my number 3. I didn't know much about Florida. I would argue I could switch Vegas and Florida.
I think it's pretty. That's fine. I mean,
This
the
year,
top. I feel like. I mean, once you get into.
Why do you have Florida so low? Like,
Why do I have them so low?
Just because there's been teams that have been.
But like,
because
you have him.
well, we're talking
Also
about power rankings, and in their last 10, they're 6-2-2, and every team I have above them is better
It's
than
been better
6-2
than past 10.
and
Yeah, okay.
That's really my only reason. I could have them ahead of the Islanders just because Anders-Lee's out for season, but I mean,
Yeah, okay.
I don't.
Yeah, my number 4 is also the Vegas Golden Knights. Brandon mentioned it earlier. Probably top 3, top 2, maybe best goalie tandem in the league with Leonard and Fleury. Fleury just seems to be getting better with age.
It's crazy.
He's 35, having a Vezina caliber season. Still wish Pittsburgh had never let him go after this season, especially. They have a great defensive core. Shea Theodore is one of the most underrated defensemen in the league.
Oh yeah.
You got Pietrangelo, the big signing this year. Guys up front, you got Mark Stone, you got Pacioretty, you got
Ben Simmons.
Good
What?
defender.
So is Nick Nurse.
yeah. Who else up on that forward core? You got like William Karlsson, Alex Tuck is up there. They just got a well-rounded team. They have playoff experience too. Obviously, in their inaugural season, they made it to the Cup final.
Insane.
I don't see them not keeping it going. And
Yes, 151.
number 4.
Okay, so I'm talking about my number 4. Okay, yes. Yeah. Number 4 is the Carolina Hurricanes. I have them at 4. They're currently 4th in the NHL. Look at me. I mean, I feel like for the past 2-3 years since they've started to pick it up a little bit, not be bottom of the league dumpster people, but I mean, I think the knock on them every time is their goaltending isn't good enough, but I mean, every year they surprise us. Reimer's been great this year. Nedeljkovic has been great this year. Maybe he can jump into that starting role that they've wanted, that they've kind of...
Mrazek hurt.
Mrazek's been hurt, yeah. I mean, Nedeljkovic is still young, and I mean, they're still developing him, but maybe he can get into that spot they want. They're 8-1-1 in their last 10. We talked about their defense, one of the best in the league, minus Jake Gardner. You all right there, Maxie? Anyways, getting off of Carolina because I'm distracted now. I'll go to my number 3. The Washington Capitals. I didn't do good this time because they're currently 2nd in the league, 3rd in power rankings. I mean, they're 9-1-0 in their last 10. They're tops in their division, and the reason I have them so high is because they were missing a bunch of key players for about a week, like a month ago or so, with COVID. So to still be this high and be playing this well recently, I gotta show some respect. Number 3.
My number 3 team is Carolina Hurricanes. We've talked about them enough already. Solid decor, solid star power up front. Obviously, I haven't watched too many Hurricanes games. I don't think I actually watched a single one all year. But Brandon says their decor is playing well, so I'm gonna their goalie tending is playing well, so I'm just gonna.
I don't know if they are the stats say.
I'm just gonna go along with Brandon and say their goaltending is playing
I don't
well.
watch any either.
Carolina at 3.
All right, at number 3, I have the Florida Panthers.
Disrespectful.
You had them lower.
I know.
19-6. They're plus 17 differential. Last 10 games, they haven't had a great record, but I'm not just taking in the last
6-2 is pretty.
6-2 isn't bad, but it's what I'm trying to say is I think Brandon's kind of using the whole last 10 games a little bit.
That's the whole point
That's
of
what power rankings is.
Yeah, but you're basing it off the whole season, right?
Usually you base it off like recently.
Yeah, but like it's based off of what you I don't know what you think.
What we think going forward.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
I would still have the Florida Panthers.
That's fine.
And I would still say that the Florida Panthers are securing that number 3 spot just because they haven't had a terrible last 10 games, and over the course of the season, I still think they would show a bit more than your Hurricanes, Islanders, especially Toronto. You know, teams like that. So they're my number 3.
Second.
My second pick, who I'm not gonna just blatantly disrespect, is the Washington Capitals. They've won the past 6 games, believe it or not, and they're in first place.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, who would have thought they'd be that high? Number 2, they also talking about shaky goaltending. Well, they have 88 goals against, sure, but they also have 103 goals for.
Their goaltending is
it's shaky, but I would still
win
say
games 7-6.
I look at. This is the one. Maybe I could be totally off here, but if I were to compare them to another team,
I know who he's comparing them to.
Who?
Pittsburgh.
No, I'm not. I'm comparing it from a different sport.
uh,
If I were to compare it to another team, why I'm saying that there shouldn't really be any argument against Washington is I think their offensive firepower is just
Talking about
unstoppable. I'm talking about Brooklyn. Yeah.
hockey's different though.
I understand hockey's different, but I think what's lacking in the Washington team is maybe a goaltending, and I would say what the Brooklyn Nets lack is their defense. And people are going to be talking about that like, oh, you don't have goaltending. Oh, you don't. Who gives a shit when you're that good offensively? Is my point. When you have Alex Ovechkin, when you have James Harden, you know. So I have Washington securing that number 2 spot.
I'll agree with you in the NHL rankings.
And we're gonna skip Noah.
No. I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about your point.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying that like I agree with what you're saying in a ranking standpoint, like how they're winning games, so the goaltending doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But like what Noah's saying, the same thing is you can even kind of compare them to the Leafs. Like from 3 years ago, they were winning games 7-6, and then they go into the playoffs, and it doesn't really work.
But the thing is that the Leafs, the difference between the Leafs and the Caps is the Caps have some more experience there.
Right now, the Capitals will be playing the Bruins, and I say that the Bruins. I'd pick the Bruins honestly. In that series.
Probably would too.
Maybe, sure, but I'm still.
But we're talking about rankings.
Yeah, we're talking about rankings.
So that's why your point's kind of valid.
Yeah,
in a rankings thing. I mean, if you're winning games, it doesn't matter what the score is.
They've literally been 9. If we're gonna use the last 10 for example,
they're 9-1.
They're 9-1. I'm not gonna. Yeah, exactly. So, and actually, I have Ovi on my fantasy. He's been just going up in points lately. He's been on fire lately. So, yeah, Washington is a tight number 2 for me.
My number 2 is Florida Panthers. I think they're still one of the most criminally underrated teams in the league. Barkov and Huber are kind of like putting them on their back, but then they also have supporting pieces like Ekblad on the D. Yandel is always going to be a consistent player.
We don't have the first. Same.
I would hope we have the same.
Yeah. And then, like Brandon said earlier, Bobrovsky's kind of finding his way back to being old Bobrovsky after a slump last year.
Bobrovsky!
I don't see them not staying at the top of the league. And they're number 2.
My number 2 is Vegas. They're currently 6th in the NHL. 8-2 in their last 10. I mean, you currently have probably the best goalie tandem in the league, which is kind of funny because Marc-Andre Fleury was on the trade block at the start of the season. I bet you they're pretty happy they didn't find a trade for him. You're gonna pull up a Bobrovsky.
Possibly.
Before we get to that, I mean, we all have Tampa at number one. It's no surprise. They're currently first in the NHL. They won the Stanley Cup. I'm trying to get through this quick before Bobrovsky pops up.
5 goals scored on... Oh, what's his name?
Okay, Tampa Bay is number one in the league. They just won the Stanley Cup. Normally, when teams win the Stanley Cup, they have a slow start to the next season, but Tampa Bay hasn't, and they're 7-2-1 in their last 10. They're still first in the NHL, and this is without Nikita Kucherov, one of the best goal scorers in the league. It's amazing how they continue to ride this ride.
Bobrovsky. All right, that's going to wrap up our power rankings. We're going to go into a little bit of trivia time here with
I
Brandon.
didn't get to say I had Tampa at 1.
We all said
I said everything about Tampa there is to say.
You didn't mention Stamkos?
No, there's no need.
He's a cool guy.
He is a cool guy. He's Canadian, too.
Rico always used to call me Stamkos. Right?
Yeah, think about how wrong he was.
Crazy.
Okay.
Guys.
Max is 1-0 in trivia. We're going to keep records over the episodes.
Brandon's 0-1.
This is, what is hockey and basketball?
5 hockey, 5 basketball. The hockey portion is worth 6 just because Max is very understrength here. And then I made the NBA portion worth more.
Bench more than you, buddy.
You can bench more than me. Good for you. Okay, question 1. This year, who is the highest scoring NHL player that is not North American?
Who's the highest scoring NHL player?
That's not North American.
I got it.
Okay.
Draisaitl.
One for one.
Don't make them that easy.
It's the first question. It's the first question.
I'm in grade 4. It felt like...
It's okay. You just wait, Maxie. I don't know if you're going to get a single. If Wayne Gretzky did not score a single goal in his career, who would lead the league in points all time?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I know the answer to that. Can I say it?
No, let Noah think. He's got time. If Wayne Gretzky did not score a single goal in his career, who would lead the league in points all time?
Noah's an idiot. Because I know exactly what this answer is.
I think it'd still be Gretzky.
No, that's not it.
Okay, well, do you have an answer?
Yeah, Gretzky.
Gretzky. Okay,
It is still Gretzky.
Just not went with Gretzky.
I was debating it.
Who's second?
I don't know who's second in points, to be honest.
Okay, bonus point. Who's second?
Gordie Howe.
Go with the safe one. Gordie Howe.
Yager.
Yager. Oh, yeah, you did play about 50 years in the NHL.
Okay, so you guys are both 2 for 2 so far? All right.
You shouldn't have guessed Gretzky as if you were thinking about that for a bit.
I had to think.
It's close. That's crazy, though.
I knew that, though.
It's not.
I knew that.
Okay, question 3. Who is the first player to score an even strength, power play, shorthanded, penalty shot, and empty net goal in the same game?
Is he active?
He is not active.
Is it bad? I don't know this.
Yes. It is bad.
Okay, can I guess?
Can you make the questions harder?
Okay, I think I got an answer. You go first.
Is it... Alright, so can you repeat the question?
This person scored an even strength, power play, shorthanded, penalty shot, and empty net goal in the same game. 5 different ways to score.
Yeah, I don't know that, but I'll guess...
Oh my god. That's hard.
You guys should. Come on. One of you should get this.
Is it, okay, I'm gonna guess Alex Ovechkin just because.
I said he's not active.
Oh, he's not active?
No.
Too late.
Wait,
No,
okay.
you got somebody else.
Okay.
You were the one that asked the question if he was
Okay,
active.
well, whatever. Let me guess again. I'm gonna guess Rocket Richard.
I was gonna guess Lemieux.
It is Lemieux.
Yes!
Oh,
It is
that
Lemieux.
was I was gonna guess. What? I just know that name. I didn't understand what you do it.
That's why I was like, you should get it, Noah.
Yeah.
This is an easy one.
What's the score?
2-1 me.
3-2.
3-2.
Yeah. Question 4.
Bring on the
You
basket.
gotta tell me both of these to get the point. There's no bonus. There's just 1 point because it's an easy question, so you gotta guess the year as well. What is the last Canadian team to make it to the Cup Finals? What was the year?
I know which.
I know it. I think I know exactly it.
Wait. Oh.
Who was the last Canadian team to make the Cup Finals?
Hugo.
And what was
Yeah.
the year?
Ottawa Senators 2007.
Yeah, Auto 2007.
Boy. Vancouver.
Fuck.
2011.
Oh, they did!
Oh, God.
They played the
Come on.
Blackhawks!
No, they played the Bruins.
Oh, they played the Blackhawks!
I thought you
Guys,
knew
that
hockey.
was the riot.
Yeah, I know. You know hockey.
I thought that was an
don't-
easy
That
question.
didn't even come up.
I thought that was an easy question.
That didn't even
boys.
come. That didn't
Oh,
even
I
come
was
to
boys.
born in the 1990s.
Boys.
I forgot Vancouver made them.
Okay,
Sorry, Vancouver fans.
easy question.
Oh, well, you said that about the last one.
I think this one's actually easy.
No, that other one was
Who has
easy.
played? This one's easy though. This one's actually easy. Who has played the most career NHL games? You get a bonus point for being within 500 games.
500 games?
I mean 50 games. A
Oh,
bonus for
there's
being
two
within.
I'm debating between.
Okay, well I just know one.
Just
so.
tell me the player, and then we'll get to within the games.
You go ahead.
Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
No, you go ahead.
one. Yager.
Okay, I'm gonna say Yager.
It's Gordie Howe.
That was my other guess.
You
That
can
was
get a,
my
you
other
can
guess.
you can get a bonus point for being
Frank.
within 50 games of his career.
How many
played-
did Yager play?
I think Yager's second.
Yager
But I'm not
is
going to
second.
tell you because
How
then
many
you're
did
going to
Yager
be in the.
Gordie
you're
Howe
gonna be in the ring.
played. Gordie Howe played 1,700 games.
I'm gonna say 1,714.
1,767.
Yes.
That's not within 50.
It's yes, it
You're
is.
you're 53.
No, you said 67. I said 14.
Yeah,
67 minus 14.
is 53.
Yeah, but it's still.
No, you don't get it. Okay, so the score's
I said
3-2.
17.
The score's 3-2 Noah going into NBA.
It's in the 50s.
Who holds the records for minutes per game played over a whole season?
Is he active?
No.
This question was on the friggin' thing I searched up
I'll
last.
tell you this. This player in the season averaged 48.5 minutes played per game. He played all but 8 minutes the whole year.
What?
They went into overtime. That's how he got above 48.
How
a
is
few
this
times.
even a person?
I think I got it.
I don't know this shit.
I think I got
Another
it.
hint. It holds this record 1 through 7.
Is it a player?
In
I
7
got
different
it,
seasons.
I got it.
Pardon?
You already named the player yet?
We're in NBA now.
I got it.
Oh, we're in NBA.
Yes.
Holy.
That's what
shit.
I said. I said we're moving on to NBA. You're not listening.
No, I'm not.
Active, not
I got
active. Ovechkin.
I got it.
Okay, repeat the question.
I got
Who
it.
holds the record for minutes per game played over an entire season? At 48.5. He played all but 8 minutes
I
the
know
whole
it.
season.
Okay.
I know it.
I'm gonna guess Will Chamberlain.
That's my guess as well.
Mhm.
I knew that.
Okay, thank God.
He holds the record. He's first, second, third, fourth, fifth,
Who
sixth,
knew?
and seventh in
No.
that record. Do you know who's eighth? Monta Ellis.
Really?
Yeah. Which I just was like, what? I should have asked that
That's
instead.
funny.
So scores 4-3 Noah. Who was drafted by the Lakers twice?
Twice?
Yeah. The same player was
How can
drafted
you
by
get-
the
how can
Lakers
you get drafted
twice. I'll tell you. He was drafted, decided to go back to school, entered the draft again, was drafted again by the same team.
You can do that?
I guess so.
He's not active.
I'll give you a
then.
hint. He's not active.
Yeah.
He was drafted by the Lakers. In the first year he was drafted 14th overall. The second time he was first overall.
Wow.
The years were 1956 and
Oh,
1958.
okay, then I think I got it, if it's that old.
Me.
I got it. I 100% have it.
Giving you a lot of hints here.
I know.
You should get like a buzzer. And time's up.
We're under the time.
Okay, go ahead.
Jerry West.
I was gonna guess.
Elgin Baylor.
I never even guessed.
You didn't guess.
You said just go ahead. You
I
said you
did-
didn't
yeah,
have
him
one.
first.
Would you have said Elgin Baylor 100%?
No.
I would have said Magic Johnson.
Okay, so
Magic
you're
Johnson.
wrong anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
They played in the
I know,
80s.
but it was.
Okay,
it
so it's
was
still
a
4-3.
guess.
I gave you a guess. If you would have honestly said Elgin Baylor, I would have given it to you.
Yeah, it was.
Who won the first NBA game? Bonus for who they beat.
I'm gonna say.
They weren't called this at the same time, though, were they?
If you just give me the team they're called now, I'll give it
Okay.
to you.
You go ahead.
Why do you know this?
Golden State and Philly.
Oh, well, actually, no, that would be the. I actually do think that is it, but that's the only reason I know that is because he said it. So.
The Knicks beat Toronto in the first game.
Really? Toronto played in the fucking
When?
first NBA game.
What year is it?
I don't have that. Search it up. Do you want me to search it up right now?
Yeah, who played in the
First
first? It's gonna be
NBA
Philly and Golden
game.
State.
I searched it up.
I can't believe New York and Toronto
This
played.
story. Because the first NBA game was in Toronto.
Yeah, you're right. It was
The New York Knickerbockers
Knickerbockers.
beat It was Toronto, but I don't know what the heck their game was back in the day. It was in Maple Leaf
Yeah,
Gardens.
it was
Yeah,
Toronto
you're
Huskies.
right.
The Toronto Huskies.
Toronto Huskies.
Okay.
So 4-3. How many questions left?
2.
4-3 me.
Is there any bonuses left? No. So there's
Max
just 2
has, to,
questions.
Max has to get both these, and let's hope I get both of them wrong.
Name 2 of the 3 players to ever. There's only 3 players who have ever done this. You have to name 2 of them. They won MVP,
I don't know.
All-Star MVP, and Finals MVP in the same year.
I got 1.
How about this? I'll do a point per person you can name.
Deal.
There's 3 people.
I got 1.
There's 3.
So they won
all MVPs in the same year. Finals, All-Star, and just.
I'm
MVP.
sort of gonna. I know 1. I'm gonna guess 2 others.
Okay, yeah, just guess 3 names, anyways.
Okay, I'm gonna guess 2.
You might as well say 3. Yeah,
Well,
say
I'm
3
gonna-
names.
The third's coming. I'm gonna say for my first 2, MJ and LeBron, and then for my third, I'm gonna say, I don't know. I don't think Kevin Durant won it. I'm gonna say Curry as well.
I was gonna say Kobe, Bill Russell, and Jerry West.
Who'd you say?
Kobe, Bill Russell, and Jerry West.
You went 0 for 3.
No way. I thought Kobe.
Max
did it.
went 1 for 3. The answers were MJ,
Yeah, I knew MJ.
Shaq,
Oh, that was my other guess.
and Willis Reed.
I know.
Willis Reed.
Guess.
4-4 heading into the last question. I don't have a tie break, so someone better get this right. Someone better get this wrong. Who is the only player in history to have the most points, assists, rebounds, steals, and blocks in a playoff series?
Why do you bring out these stat questions
Get them right.
in a playoff series?
In a playoff series.
Including
Through a
both
whole,
teams or
through
one
a,
team?
both teams. Through a whole playoff series, he led all players in
Just
points,
like-
assists,
like-
basically all the stats.
Okay, I think I have my answer. I'm gonna go kind of basic.
Yeah, I know that's what you're gonna go with. If it is basic and it is who it is, it's a stupid question. If it isn't,
Oh, that's the track.
I'm gonna,
Either way, you guys are
I'm
both
gonna
4
go-
for 13 right now.
Yeah.
4 for 12. So you both failed this quiz. You
whatever.
both suck.
Shut up.
You got
I'm
an
gonna
answer?
guess. Oh, there's no one else. Okay, yeah, maybe. I'm gonna guess Magic Johnson.
I was gonna say LeBron.
It's
LeBron
See?
James.
What? That's
LeBron-
so
I knew it was
stupid.
LeBron.
I knew it was LeBron.
Do you know the series?
What?
It was. It's
Yeah,
Yeah, I
2016.
know the series. It was a 2017 year, wasn't it?
2016 in
20
the
I got
finals.
that.
Yeah,
In the
but
finals
they
against
came
Golden
back.
State.
Yeah, but that's what I
Noah
thought.
wins 5. So Noah went 5 for 13,
I was
failing
gonna-
grade. But Max went 4 for 13,
I
failed.
was- I-
Max is now 1-1. We're not even going to let him defend himself.
Oh my
1-1.
God, that's
Noah's
bullshit.
1-0.
That's bullshit. That's the most stupid question.
It wasn't
I
a
know
stupid
it was
question.
LeBron
Then say
James.
LeBron.
Pardon?
Then say LeBron.
Because I didn't think you'd be.
That's the point of the quiz.
Such
Mind
an easy
games.
question.
Mind games.
Not mind games.
Mind games.
We're gonna wrap it up here,
I even
guys.
said to you guys before, I was like, fuck you if you put it LeBron James. And you did
Well,
put it
fuck
LeBron
me
James.
then, eh?
If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like and subscribe.
1-1.
And we will see you next time.
Nick
Fuck
Nurse is
that.
on ball
That was so
defense.
bullshit.